morning, everyone, and a good Shabbos. Imagine if somebody were to ask you, in your opinion, what is the most important verse in the entire Torah? A matter of fact, this question was posed by the redactor of the Mishnah, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, to three great rabbis, and each one responded what they thought was the most important verse in the Torah. The first rabbi, whose name was Ben Pazai, said, the most important verse in the Torah is Shema Yisrael Hashem Elokeinu Hashem Echad. Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. Second rabbi, whose name was Ben Nanas, said, in my opinion, the most important verse in the Torah is V'ahavta l'reacha kamocha, love your neighbor as yourself. And then came the third rabbi, whose name was Ben Pazai. But the first one was Ben Zoma, the second one was Ben Nanas, the third one was Ben Pazai. Ben Pazai said, the most important verse in the Torah is a verse we're going to read tomorrow. What's the verse? The verse says that in the temple there was daily offerings. And the Torah says, you should bring one offering in the morning, one sacrifice in the morning. The second lamb should be brought in the afternoon. Says Ben Pazai, this is the most important verse in the Torah. And the question is, Hear, O Israel, the Lord is our God, the Lord is one. That's monotheism, the basis of Judaism, one God. Love your neighbor as yourself. As Hillel told the convert, that's all of Judaism. Don't treat others the way you don't want others to treat you. But why would the third rabbi, whose name was Ben Pazai, say that it's the verse in tomorrow's reading? Who would think that one offering in the morning, one sacrifice in the afternoon is the most important verse? And one of the beautiful interpretations is that he's not disagreeing with the first two rabbis. He's saying is yes, faith in God, most important verse. Love your neighbor as yourself, most important verse. But you know what? You got to show it. How do you show it? By making a sacrifice in the morning and a sacrifice in the afternoon for God and for your fellow man. It's not enough to pay lip service. Oh, I believe in God. I have so much faith in God. Oh, I love everybody. That's really nice. But what did you do tangibly? What sacrifice did you make? What did you give of yourself, of your time, of your resources to actually help another human being or a fellow Jew? What did you do for Hashem that you gave of yourself for Hashem? How did you show your faith in God and your love for your fellow man? That has to be a daily offering, once in the morning, once in the evening. I mentioned yesterday a beautiful thought that there's a commandment to build a sanctuary. Vasuli Migdash, you should build a sanctuary and I will dwell in it. And a Migdash is not just a temple, but every synagogue and every home is a Migdash. And I mentioned that in the numerical value of Gematria, the word Migdash equals 444. The word Bayit, which is the home that you're going to go home to today, is 412. How many, what's the difference? 32. The Migdash is 444. Home, Bayit, is 412. 32 is the numerical value of the word Lev, heart. When you put your heart into your home, it becomes a dwelling place, a sanctuary for God. When you put your heart into your actions to help another person or to serve Hashem, that becomes sanctified. And I just want to share with you a personal story I'll never forget. There was a man who lived right over the bridge. He actually lived on his boat. His name was David Chase of blessed memory. He passed away a few years ago. How do I know David Chase? Because David Chase is the founder of the Rabbinical College of America in Morristown, New Jersey, where I studied. So every time I came on the campus at the David T. Chase campus, he was probably he's a very wealthy man, a multi-million. He lived in Connecticut, and he came down with his big yacht, and he lived on his yacht during the winter in Palm Beach. A man once came to me, he had a grandchild who was very, very sick, and he was raising money for a surgery. So I called David Chase, and I said, there's someone here who needs some help, can I come over to see you? He said, sure. We came over, we told him about the surgery that he was raising money for, and David Chase took out his checkbook and he wrote him a check for $7,000. And then his wife comes in and says, David, we got to go soon. He said, we got to go. Remember, we made up, we're going to go shopping on Worth Avenue we need to get you some new suits. And David Chase said to his wife, I decided I don't want to go get the suits. She said, why not? She said, I just gave this man $7,000 and he has a terrible plight. His grandson is very ill, needs a surgery. For me to write a $7,000 check, it's not a big deal. But I want to feel like I sacrificed something, like I gave up something to help this person. So instead of buying the suits, I gave him the money that I was going to spend on the suits. And when I have one suit less, I'll remember the plight of this person, that I gave something of myself. I want to feel that I gave him something of myself. And so the more you give of yourself, the greater the mitzvah. The more you put your heart into it, the greater the mitzvah. And this is the opinion of Ben Pazai. One offering in the morning, one offering in the evening. Every night before you go to bed, say to yourself, did I make a small offering today for my fellow man and for Hashem?